I think a lot of times women call it settling, but for me, it's really you just get what you are. If I say 1 in 3 men are either virgins or haven't had sex in the last year, how does that make you feel?
Is that true?
Yes.
That's actually, yeah.
See what I mean?
Why you gotta laugh on that, right?
That's what I'm saying. Men are really like dying for a relationship. They're dying for
Men
this.
don't
like,
get it like that. Men do not get it like it's not just easy to just go outside and get attention and love. Like we just.
It's like y'all only see the guys up here. You don't even know. Like homeboy that work at Starbucks, he may have not like gotten
Not
cheeks.
true. I'm looking at him every time I order my coffee.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, you think that so who has to compromise more in dating standards, men or women?
That's tough.
Wait, hold on. What was the question you said?
Who has to compromise more on their dating standards? Like who has to cave in more on dating? Like
I think.
I'll let y'all go.
Okay. Let me land.
I'm about to hear.
I think women have to compromise more, but I think it's because our standards are higher. So I think like.
Can you throw some examples in there?
So I believe the average woman tends to have unrealistic standards. Like if let's use the example we all know, height. So many women out here swear up and down they need a 6-foot man. And then what percent of the population is over 6 feet?
14%.
14%.
So I got Google.
It's like Armani. It's like Alexa. Armani, give me the statistic on. So it's like if you are, and honestly, it makes me so like sad because it just doesn't make any sense. If you are 5'2", 3, 4, honestly 5. You don't need. I could go a little higher, but I'm gonna try and keep it like as at least debatable as possible. You don't need a 6-foot man. You really don't. You really don't.
My daily stiletto girls. You know what I mean?
And I'm gonna give it to you because me myself, like 6 foot was never on my list. But if you looked at my dating trends, I naturally. Except for my very first boyfriend, I always ended up with tall guys, but I was never like in my head like I can't talk to you. For me, if you are my height in 4-inch heels, I'm good with you. I'm 5'3", 4-inch heels. That's 5'7". 5'8" was typically my mental cutoff. If you were 5'8", and typically I'm a heels girly, so I usually meet you in heels. So if I can look you in the eye, we are set.
Is it true that women, you guys want to look up to your man? Is that true? Like that's why you love the height.
That
like,
must be what it is.
Like literally,
because when I meet
all the above, yeah, right.
When I meet a 5-foot girl and we get to talking about men and relationships, and she says he needs to be 6 foot, I'm like, for what?
Now they piss me off.
Why?
I would not say that I'm a tall woman, but I do feel like I'm tall because I'm around 5'6", but with my hair and then when I wear heels, I can hover around like the 5'10" to like 5'11".
But at least at 5'6", if you said 6 foot, I wouldn't like immediately be looking at you sideways. Like a 5'2" girl saying she needs to date somebody who's 6 foot, I'm like, for
they
what?
Piss me off.
But on average, how often are you in the heels on average anyway? Like on like most of your days,
the average girl is
flats.
probably in heels a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm in heels maybe like once a week.
Okay, once that's not a lot.
But when we're stepping outside together,
that's what I'm saying. If you're optics wise,
okay, so you care about what other people care
yeah,
about.
What I care about is I've dated a shorter man in the past. He wasn't that short. I'm fine.
When you say shorter man, you meant
shorter than her normal standard.
When you say shorter man, I'm thinking shorter than you.
No.
But you just mean he wasn't 6 foot.
He wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, he wasn't 6 foot. Because the average height for a man is what, 5'10"?
5'8".
So he wasn't even short by average standards.
The way that I base it off, and this is really how I see it. If I am laying on your chest,
this is what okay,
and my feet are past your feet. Now I'm just because I'm out here in the wild alone. Who am I with out here?
Wild alone. Where you at?
I'm dangling. I'm like, I have nothing to rub my cold feet on because you're all the way up there.
You gotta curl up. You gotta curl up.
But and that is so unfortunate. It's a very.
That was a 5'9" man.
That was a 5'9" man.
It's little stuff.
But my thing is this.
And that's unfortunate.
That's like it's the ick.
All right, my thing is this, right? If we know that only 14% of men are over 6 feet. There's a lot of
5'11s in there. There's a lot of 5'10 and a halves. There's not.
Most times when men say 5 anything, it doesn't really. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, y'all don't hear it. When he say 5, you stop listening.
Yeah, you stop listening. Even on dating apps, it was a article about when a man says he's 6 feet, he's actually 5'11". So guys started changing their height to 6'1". That's a different story. But so if you know it's a small percentage of guys above 6 feet, does that mean that you're willing to compete? Does that mean that you're willing to?
Before you pivot over there, because the original question was who settles more in terms of dating standards. And I said so that was my example, because I said I believe women compromise more, but I do believe women have a lot of semi unrealistic like expectations. Because quite honestly, I don't want to put my fellow women down at all, but I like to be realistic and I like to be logical. So I feel like you tell the average woman that 14% of men are 6 foot, so maybe you should lower that standard a little bit. They're going to argue with you. They're going to be like, well, I'm going to get somebody in the 14%. It's like, we all can't be out here fighting for the 14%. And then in that 14%, what you always say, that doesn't account for how much money they make. That doesn't account for the people who are gay. That doesn't account for the people who are not in your community. Like, I mean, if the majority of those 6 feet women are men are in Africa, like, that's not where you're at.
Right.
Like,
if the reality of it is 3% of men that look good that are 6 feet, then what do you do? Then the question goes back to, are you willing to compete?
So I do believe, like,
I'm willing to throw my hat in the ring. I will compete. Not compete. No, okay, that sounded bad.
You might as well play the
I'm not
lottery.
fighting with another woman on a man. That's not what I'm saying.
And that's the problem.
I'm saying I'm
the
willing
issue.
to put my best self forward in this dating pool and do the things that I need to do to find good people. Like, I'm willing to fight for a good relationship, not against somebody if I'm incompetent. I'm not doing that, but I will fight for a relationship.
But even when you're fighting, like, even when you're not even fighting, but like deciding, it's like with women and the standards, it goes back to your original point. You really need to like prioritize what things you should be prioritizing. Like, you need to have better judgment on what you're prioritizing. Because the women who like start listing what they're looking for in a man, and the first, second, or third thing out of your mouth is height, and then a 6 foot height at that, I'm like, you're not right.
So what are y'all
what
prioritizing?
is 6 foot doing for you?
What did you all prioritize when looking for a partner?
Well, okay. As a man, okay, my thing is this, right? Well, first I want to close out this topic real quick.
We don't have to close it out. Everyone can answer, and then you can talk about priorities.
Well, yeah.
Or like
I want to close out who compromises.
Who's compromising?
Who compromises more? I actually think men compromise more than women.
Really?
I do want to define compromise. Like, I don't want to define it, but in the context of what we're talking about,
Who lowers their standards?
Right.
Compromise in the sense of
You have standards, and then you lower them.
Who lowers their standards more?
To end up with somebody.
Yeah.
Men for sure, 1,000%.
We're talking about, like,
I
for
would
instance,
say-
we're talking about like stage one initiation, right? Like, when you're going out to meet people, you know, maybe you've been a little delusional for a while, and then you have to like kind of like be more realistic and then dumb it down. Who does that more often?
That's fair.
When you hear 1 in 3 men having had sex in the last year and or aversions between 18 and 30, you ain't getting cheeks. You compromising. You're gonna fold at some point. Like, it's just a
cheeks. natural
reaction. Yeah, but the thing is,
cheeks
like,
can lead to love.
yeah. I mean, you're gonna fold at some point because you're going through life. You're not getting what you want, so you're gonna lower your standards. Men will adapt to get what they want. I think women are a little less likely to adapt to get what they want because they have more options. So they don't have to
That's what it is,
settle.
yeah.
They don't have to adapt. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting married, my thing is a win is a marriage. So if women aren't getting married, they usually choose to adapt later on in their life once they hit 40 plus. And so that's when they choose to kind of lower their standards, but it's too late by then. So I say men compromise more.
But they're still like, I think what you may not like see as a compromise is like, if I was unwilling to settle for like the guy who wasn't making the amount of money I wanted him to, but like look the way that I wanted him to or whatever. So I was like, no. And then like I dated someone else and they didn't check any boxes and I was like, no. And then finally I found the guy that I like made the amount of money, had the career that I wanted, and like looked kind of like okay. I think y'all think that we still kind of like sometimes don't settle. Like, cause like it's other things. It's like maybe I'm not getting treated the way I wanted to get treated, or maybe like maybe there's like some character flaws, some personality flaws. Like you said, like women aren't really looking for like men with integrity or men with character. It's like maybe they were looking for that, but stupidly enough, like that was what I was like, okay, he doesn't have that. I'm gonna like that's fine because he's still 6 foot, making 6 figures and looks good. Like so that's still settling, still compromising.
Settle. When women say settle, I have an issue with it because
I think we all have different definitions of like
Sorry.
settling. Like a girl,
Sorry, not settling,
like,
but
it's
I still compromising.
It's like I want my girl to be like Beyonce, and if I didn't marry that, I've settled.
But that's why my
That's what I'm
initial
saying. It's like,
okay,
that's why my initial
this is-
statement was I think that we compromise more, but I think it's because our standards are
But
so
like-
So
high.
it can't be really
Because
that is
compromising.
what you're thinking.
I think
it's-
well, men settle physically, women settle for more personality and like ideological things.
I mean,
like,
could you say that like sometimes relationships can be over romanticized, and you build up this big idea of what it should look like, and then if it doesn't look like that, then you settle. Although in reality, that's never what it would ever be.
I think a lot of times women call it settling, but for me, it's really you just get what you are. Not everybody is as special as we make them.
Which is true,
Women,
yes.
girls are born to believe that they're a princess, that they're special, that they're unique. Boys aren't raised like that. We're not raised to believe that we're special. We just feel like we like everybody else. But girls feel like, yo, I'm a princess, I'm a queen, I deserve X, Y, Z. I deserve. Like that
That's why you
word
can say like only
bothers me.
10% of
Deserve.
dudes are in this area, but everybody knows that my hat can probably get it close.
Yeah.
Like everybody's hat can get close.
And so my thing is like, are you settling or do you just get what you are? And so that like I think a lot of women call it settling, but I
both.
think it's really you just get what you are.
It's
like
both.
if you an average girl, you get an average guy.
Yeah, I mean,
and
you attract what you are.
That's-
So
that's
both
not
of y'all,
So
both
if
of y'all
you're a
are
great
saying
girl,
men.
you'll attract a great guy. If you're not great, your guy is what you are.
yeah, that's not a settle. to
It's not
me.
a settle. It's just
It's just-
if
that's
you
what
level
you
up,
are.
maybe you'll get something.
So what we're saying here is that we're all settling at the same rate, dependent upon who we are as a person.
no, the thing
No,
is, the
He's
thing
saying
is,
that women don't really settle because we get what we should have
the
gotten.
question is, if you want a great man, be a great woman. And if I want a great woman, I need to be a great man. So if I want to attract that, that is what I have to be. Is what we're saying, right? So it's like a lot of times, if you don't attract that, maybe you're not a great person, you know, and that could be okay. Maybe that's just something you have to work on.
And men will.
I'm not just looking at you.
Men's standards are low. We'll touch anything.
I mean, that is true.
I
Y'all will touch
agree. Men
everything.
really
I'm
will.
not the voice of that,
not me specifically, but like, a lot
You
of
say,
men.
well, men cheat. They usually cheat with an uglier girl than the girl.
Oh
that
yeah,
they
did.
men, I mean, men in cheating and sex and like
I mean,
the
that's
people
a
that they
whole
can get
nother
with
story,
is like I do agree that you all will allow lower quality things into your life just to get the result of whatever you're looking for. Like if it's the sex, if it's just like the company, whatever y'all need at the time,
And we
you
all
will
know,
drop
though.
it.
If you're in a
There's
drought, everybody.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think there's less women in droughts that will be like, this person is gross, but I don't care. I think we're not going to
But
do
if
that.
you out cheating, you're not in a drought. You got water at home. We got water at home.
All right, so to close it, so somebody had a question. I think we.
Oh, so we started talking about the actual.
Compromise.
Oh no, what we should prioritize. Or what,
Your question
Oh.
was to us about what we prioritize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah,
She
but
was
women.
asking us like,
Yeah.
what do we prioritize when it comes to looking for women to date?
Alright,
Maybe I should
go
have
for
said
it.
that closer. My bad.
Do you want to repeat the question?
Yeah, so say it again so
Okay.
that we can hear your
Okay.
whole thing.
So I have a question for everyone. Based on our conversation today, what do you all prioritize when you're dating women? Like, what are you looking for, and what do you put at the top of your list?
You know, it's funny because throughout my life, you know, that priority, of course, it should have changed, right? As you season up, you know, you become a different person or you improve on you as a person, like those things change. But I guess the things that I was looking for when I met my girl, at that point, I think I always prioritize attraction. I believe in the law of attraction. A lot of people say, look, you know, my whole goal is if I'm going to marry this woman and be next to her 365 till I die, I got to like looking at you. And that's just my thing. So I do prioritize like how I feel when I see you as an important thing. And then I start looking at character, and that character kind of shows up in like, you know, are you fit? Do you actively go to the gym? Because that shows me discipline, and it shows me resilience, and it shows me delayed gratification. Then I look at, you know, what you're trying to do with your life, right? And through those kind of conversations, I learn about character. So I think a lot of my things that I prioritize is, you know, attraction, character, And of course financial stability. I think I as well as a good high earner, I believe that my partner should be in that same space. You know, and so those are things that I started to look into right now. Like when it comes to like super physical, like some dudes have big butt, big tits, all this kind of thing. When it comes to attributes of a woman, I'm not super really like in that space. Just attraction is what I look for, right? But I think I think those points kind of fit my mode.
Okay.
I would agree.
As
I would
far as,
say,
yeah.
a baseline level of attraction. What I really like is effort. I really prioritize effort, especially on the onset of the
Yeah.
situation. When I meet you, I'm looking to see how you're coming. Like, I'm looking to see, are you looking at me like you're trying to finesse me? Are you looking
Yeah.
at me like I'm a bag, like I'm a trick? Or are you looking at me like, okay, we're trying to do something together, or we're trying to at least see if we can come together, and I'm coming with, and you're coming with something that's trying to help me or be commensurate. Like, I look for effort. So support me in the things that I'm doing. Take an interest in the things that I'm doing. Show that you care. Show that you appreciate me for the gestures that I'm making. Like, that's what I care about. And then be agreeable. Be a nurturing